Yo, what is up guys, and welcome to InfernoKun, back with my final video for today about The Walking Dead, the final season. Okay, I'm tired, I want to lie down and go ahead and play the new Tomb Raider game. Okay, but now we have the teaser breakdown for The Walking Dead, the final season, episode 2, Suffer the Children, and man, it was a pretty awesome trailer. From soundtrack to the pacing of it and the reveals in it were definitely really cool and left me with a bunch of questions that will be answered in the actual game coming out next Tuesday. So buckle in, let's go ahead and watch the trailer, and as it goes on I will break it down.
There's this cold that settles on my skin. It happens right before a storm.
Okay, so Clementine says there's a cold that settles on her skin, and it's like right before something bad goes down, okay? So she has a gut feeling that, since she's getting all these chill bumps, kind of just feeling that, okay, that something bad gonna go down, okay? First, we go ahead and look at the visuals here. What we can see is the boarding school, okay? You kind of see it being, regular tinted, and then going from a regular tint to a red tint. Now, we have seen in one of these screenshots where Clementine is, surrounded by all this red tint, that screenshot is actually called Nightmare, okay? We are getting a nightmare of some sorts, and judging by how this goes from, this regular normal tint to a red tint, this is obviously going to be the nightmare stage. Now, I'm wondering how it's going to play out, because obviously Clementine is going to be asleep, okay? And this is definitely the boarding school. But as you go further down, you can kind of see it looks a lot different, okay? Of course, the red tint and everything else, but, what if as she's going down the hallway, she fades into what seems to be the McCarroll Ranch, and that is where her nightmare actually begins. So it would definitely be cool to kind of just go ahead and be in the boarding school in a dream or nightmare, and then just transition slowly by walking towards the inside of the McCarroll Ranch or wherever Clementine's nightmare is going to be. So that's definitely really cool. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next visual we have of basically Clementine standing right next to Violet, and then AJ is definitely over there by 10. Now, AJ, of course, wearing his new outfit, his jacket, and of course 10 is looking worried. Violet and Clementine, they both have their eyes closed, and they're kind of, I guess, you can see by Clementine's eye movements that something's irking her, okay? And she said she always has this gut feeling whenever a bad thing's going to happen. So that's pretty interesting. I'm wondering what's going on at this point, why Clementine and Violet have their eyes closed instead of, AJ and 10, because they're looking at whatever they're looking at, and they're like very, very, very focused on that. So that's definitely really interesting. So let's go ahead and move on.
AJ? Sometimes I need the quiet.
Okay, so at this point we have basically Clementine looking down the hallway, probably in her nightmare, and then looking at this door, of course with the red tint, indicating her nightmare, okay? She does yell out AJ as if, of course, AJ's in danger or something like that, and it could be, of course, at the McCarroll Ranch, because she has been having nightmares about the McCarroll Ranch, okay? It's tied to that, okay? So as you go in a bit more, we have Violet saying sometimes she needs the quiet. Now, we do know Violet as being a very to-herself person, not very sociable, and I'm wondering what she's referring to here. Does she want, space after what just happened there? Or what? Now, of course, Clementine and Violet, if you go ahead, chose to go ahead and go with her and Brody, you develop kind of a more bond in that aspect. So I'm wondering, will we be closer to Violet depending on how you treated her in various aspects like that? That would definitely be really cool. So I'm wondering what she means by she likes the quiet. I mean, obviously, noise is kind of annoying sometimes, okay? So it's kind of reasonable to assume that, hey, maybe she likes it being so quiet, or does she mean like the quiet aspect of death? That'd be a bit too edgy, but But then we have Clementine, of course, waking up. This is, the same kind of thing that happened whenever she wakes up from the nightmare, but instead, listen here, okay? She is wearing her hat, which is definitely different. So this is a different scene compared to the other one we had that was in the teaser, the extended teaser. So she's in bed, she has the hat on, she woke up from a nightmare, but AJ isn't standing on the desk, okay? Not sure what's going on there. Did she have a second nightmare? It's definitely possible. So I'm wondering what is going on there, why she has her hat on this time, because in the teaser, she wakes up from her nightmare differently, okay? She has no hat on, she's over here breathing very, very, very hard, and AJ is right next to her saying, hey, nightmare again, okay? So maybe this is later on in the episode or more towards the beginning where she has the frequent nightmares, but, you know, of course, it becomes more apparent once AJ goes ahead and confronts her about it. So that's definitely really cool. I forgot to mention, but during the whole, you know, red door thing, you hear the screaming of a baby, it seems, which could be the young AJ, maybe. So maybe something happened to AJ whenever he was younger. Of course, you hear crying. It sounds like crying, or at least a yell from a young individual, a toddler, from what it seems. So I'm wondering what's going on there, or I could be wrong, okay? So maybe we'll get to see what happened, you know, early on when AJ was a toddler, but how would he actually remember all that, okay? So I'm wondering if things progressively happened a lot, but we'll see about that. Now here's a wall of reviews, but I can't seem to put my finger on what's missing. Ah, here we go.
Clementine!
Am I a murderer? I did what you told me to.
Okay, so here's a bunch of stuff to digest as of right now. First, we have Clementine, AJ, and then, of course, Violet and Lewis walking in the forest. Now, AJ finally gets to go ahead and come along with us. Of course, he went hunting or fishing with Clementine, but he's, you know, out and about as of right now. Of course, Lewis over here carrying the trusty Cheryl's, and Violet's over here handling Marlon's bow. Now, I'm wondering why exactly Violet goes ahead and does that. Obviously, you know, she probably thought it was cool. Hey, a bow and arrow, a very high quality bow and arrow. She's like, that's mine, okay? So that's definitely cool to see Violet temporarily have her own signature weapon at the moment. Of course, it was Marlon's, but, you know, it's hers right now. Clem has her knife, AJ has his gun, and of course, you can see here, of course, AJ is wearing the same sweater in episode 1, so it's not too far in the episode. So, more time with Lewis and Violet, like Telltale said, which is definitely really great. I cannot wait to see more from these two characters because they're definitely really, really great. And I want to see how Violet can go ahead and handle this bow, okay? Yeah, but over here we have Clementine looking back over her shoulder. I'm not entirely sure why, but, you know, I'm thinking, like, they made Clementine walk ahead because she can't trust Clementine and AJ after they killed Marlon, okay? So maybe Violet and Lewis are tasked to go ahead and just take Clementine and AJ somewhere, or alternatively they're out on a mission, you know, they're just ahead talking while they're over here doing that. Now it's kind of a little bit weird to me that they both have their weapons drawn, okay? Violet's pretty much ready. She has the bow in one hand and the arrow in another, as well as, you know, Lewis having Cheryl's like at the ready. So I'm wondering, do they think that Clementine and AJ are hostile after what happened to Marlon? Which is definitely an interesting detail there. And Clementine looking over her shoulder, looking back at them, makes me seem like, hey, you know, things did not just clear up very easily. So that could be what happened here. She looks very mad as well, so that's definitely a nice detail there. Now you do hear in the woods, you know, we hear, I believe AJ, it sounds like Willie to be honest, but it could be AJ screaming Clementine, okay? Not much you can gather from that. But other than that, we have Clementine running in the forest alone. You don't really see AJ or nobody with her. We do see her encountering walkers. But moving on from that, we have AJ asking the question, is he a murderer? Okay, which is definitely a really, 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 really big and important question because, hey, you technically are. You technically killed an unarmed man. He was unarmed, he gave up, and you killed him. Therefore, you're a murderer. Now, it might have been with good intentions, AJ. I understand that, but, you know, doesn't change the fact that he was unarmed, he gave up, he surrendered, and you still end up killing him. And Telltale said we obviously can be hard on him or soft on him or whatever. So that is definitely a pretty interesting dynamic there, and I can't wait to see what goes down with the whole punishment and pretty much, you know, whatever happens there. So of course this is the teaser scene. He has the new coat on, various things like that. So obviously this is later on in the episode. Okay, so one of the last things we have is Clementine. You know, it's very fuzzy and blurry. Of course, her in the boarding school, back to that red tent place, the nightmare area where she goes ahead, I guess, walks into it, and it transitions probably to the McCarroll Ranch, which is definitely a pretty interesting sight there. So, hey, more confirmation that we'll actually be, you know, controlling Clementine, walking towards that red tent, and possibly being able to transition into the nightmare stage, which is definitely really cool to see.
You'll die protecting him. A walker you didn't spot. A bullet you couldn't dodge. A desperate cry for help that brings the herd. It happened to Lee, and it'll happen to you. Don't ever say his name!
A bunch of stuff going on here. Let's go ahead and talk about the little visuals real quick, then we'll get to the last main topic, okay? So, as far as visuals go, for the most part, we have, of course, you know, is zooming in on AJ, then going to Violet. She's looking very scared. Same with Lewis. I haven't seen him look very, you know, scared like that, and it's definitely really, you know, kind of eye-opening. And then we have, of course, Clementine and AJ in the woods as well. And then we have a new character that's confirmed to not be the guy from The Walking Dead, Michonne, okay? Telltale went ahead and confirmed that it is a whole different new character. So, hey, I'm all for new characters. Unfortunate that it's not the James guy. You know, it's not a big deal. It would have been a cool tie-in, you know? Have him be like a new character that actually has an unknown status. He grew up, he just happens to be here because why not? And he's one of the characters. A little nice tie-in, but it's not him, so hey, no harm done. But of course you see, you know, it's a little bit of him for the most part. He's looking pretty cool, not gonna lie. He looks like a pretty cool, hopefully a cool character. I do hope so. But other than that, we go ahead and keep on going. We have, you know, Mitch. We have Ruby, I believe. Oh, that's Willie. Willie or Ruby, I can't see. But anyway, if we have 10 on the ground, various things like that. So, you know, I'm not sure what's going on there, but Mitch and what's-his-face seem to be in a stealthy position, while 10's over here on the ground, kind of, you know, scared and stuff. So I'm wondering what's going on there in the boarding school from what I can see. Clementine once again looking, and then Clementine on the ground. Not sure what's going on there, but maybe she's actually in a trap, you know. Of course, walkers are going towards her as if they see her, so obviously it could be a trap that she's in, and I'm not sure if she's alone or she could have gotten, you know, spotted trying to sneak. And then lastly, we go into the whole nightmare section where we have the whole red tinted area, and then it goes right into Lily, okay? There's a whole bunch of other stuff. Let's go ahead and talk about Lily real quick. When it comes to Lily, she says a bunch of mean stuff, okay? You know, just like one mistake and you're gonna die, just really hard to hear, okay? She goes very much into detail, and I'm not sure if it's from a place of help, like how Chuck explained it, or is it from a place of just, you know, haha, you're gonna end up dying, you can't stop it, you know? I'm not entirely sure why she does this, because, you know, Lily was pretty nice to Clementine in season 1. She had no beef with Clementine, she had no beef with Lee. So I'm not entirely sure what is happening here. Yeah, she yelled a couple times at Lee, but other than that, she wasn't really that angry. She was angry more towards Kenny and, you know, anybody else who challenged her in the group. So I'm not entirely sure why she is so mean. She goes ahead and mentions Lee and saying that, hey, Clementine, you know, it's gonna happen to you as well. And of course you see her by a fire, and she's looking very, 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 very mean, and I'm not sure how I feel, man. They're taking her into a villain or maybe just a mean person direction, and I'm not sure if this is determinate. Maybe she doesn't say it if you're nice to her, but as of right now, I'm not sure how I feel about the whole Lily being evil, because even in episode 3 she wasn't even that mean, okay? She yelled, yeah, she was very paranoid, but it was with good intentions, okay? She thought somebody was stealing supplies, and she was correct. She thought it was Ben if you chose Doug. She was correct. But if you go ahead and choose Carly, then of course, she blames Carly, various things like that. So I'm not sure where this anger is coming from. Has the years just been cruel to her? Obviously she lost her dad. That was before episode 3 though, so I'm not entirely sure what ticked off in her. Has she lost people that she's loved or liked over the last few years, and has she been fed up? And what is up with this pent up aggression against Clementine? I'm not entirely sure, but for the most part, we have basically Clementine aiming the bow and arrow at Lily and saying, hey, don't you ever speak of Lily like that ever again. So obviously that's coming from a hostile tone. That has to be a choice to go ahead and threaten her, or maybe just be like, hey, I definitely won't end up like that. So this all seems to be very determinate based upon what you say, and we'll see about that. I hope so. I hope she doesn't go this far just because, hey, I ran into you. I'm gonna go ahead and speak about how Lee died, and obviously, she doesn't know how Lee died, but she obviously assumes that, hey, he died because you're here and he's not. Okay, it's that simple. But other than that, as far as that goes, a bunch of other scenes of just, Clem and AJ running, her pick up a hat, and then her, oh yeah, and then that's just her on the ground backing up, and then somebody grabbing AJ. Looks like Abel. Maybe like Abel's group comes and grabs or takes away AJ, because I can recognize that chest hair anywhere. That is definitely Abel. So Abel, I'm not entirely sure. Of course this could be the push him out the window or leave him alone. I'm not sure, but it seems like Abel will come back in this episode. Wasn't expecting that. But hey, we'll see what happens if you went ahead and pushed him out, or let him go with the food. And then lastly, we have Clementine with a boot on her neck, holding her down. Whether that will be Lily or who else, I'm not entirely sure, but hey, it's crazy, and I'm kind of worried, okay? So, it's been a long breakdown, very long breakdown, but there's a bunch of awesome information here that I mentioned that I think you guys will enjoy. For the most part, go ahead and comment down below if I have missed anything in this breakdown, because I want to go ahead and see your analysis as well. Things that I missed that you guys have picked up on. I want to see it. I really do want to see it, because you guys are definitely just full of theories and predictions, which is definitely great for a discussion. So thank you all for watching my breakdown for The Walking Dead episode 2. Suffer the Children is coming out on September the 25th, next Tuesday. Get hype, get fucking hype coming up, and I cannot wait for this episode. Thank y'all for watching. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you guys have enjoyed, and subscribe to my channel for more awesome Walking Dead content like this. I'm InfernoKun, and I'll catch you guys next time on The Walking Dead.